Buon pomeriggio, buonasera, ancora da Pierluigi Bonora con voi anche per questa ultima sessione della giornata.
Good afternoon. We are about to conclude this Motor Valley Fest digital format. And we are about to talk about a topic which is tightly linked to this land, talents, institutions and businesses strategies. It's a, let's say, facilitated partnership when it comes to supercars, motorbikes, and the passion for motors and digital technologies, this whole big world of motors. Let's start with our first guest, Mr. Andrea Bozzoli, CEO at HPE Coxa. Mr. Bozzoli, you are a greenhouse, let's say, of talents that then come to work in your company and hopefully in the future in other global companies. How do you train your talents? Good afternoon. Over the morning and today, we've seen that the world is evolving at a very fast pace. Technologies are evolving very quickly, and in this regard, we understood that we need to understand what skills and knowledge are required to keep the pace with technology and work with our customers all around the world. These customers are extremely demanding and forward-looking when it comes to their products. First of all, we need to detect the necessary profiles nowadays and in the long run. We detected them, and sitting around a table, we found out what the skills are and what these profiles need to have, as well as the level of knowledge that these young generation needs to get. So recently graduated young generations that keep on with training with us. This is a recipe, the ongoing lifelong education and training. It's not true that you don't find young talents. It's just about talking to universities. We are founders of Mooner University. We signed an agreement with 5 universities, and in the light of long life training, thanks to the support and guidance of University of Bologna and Modena, we designed a high training schools, which ensures training once they go back to the job environment. Well, the passion for motors and motorbikes, can you convey this passion to the young generations enrolling to your activities? One of our values, which is a value encompassing many different factors in the Motor Valley, is passion. Probably the feature that gathers together all the guys that we have is passion for these products. We have to deserve the success we are getting. Luckily, we have special brands in this local area. Institutions support us, and universities allow us to get closer to young generations of talented people. And we want to contribute to the development of this territory. Harley Davidson, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Ducati, these are very important names indeed. Mr. Enrico Sangiorgi, Vice Rector for Didactics at the University of Bologna. Passion also means studying hard, isn't it? Absolutely, yes. The love for study and one's own job has to be a driver for young generations. The University of Bologna has understood that this is a great added value for the community and the local area. This system has become a technology integrator. Please beware of the fact that 20 to 30 years ago, the automotive sector was not that advanced. I'm an electronic engineer, and when I got out of the university, as a thesis, I was proposed a thesis on the electronics of cars. The professor told me that the high-range electronic cars represented 2%. Now we go beyond 50%. The value of ICT and electronic technologies goes beyond 50%. So a car has become an integrator of all the advanced technologies available. So it's not only no longer about passion, but about the importance of training. The University of Bologna has been a founder, together with other universities, of Muner. It's a container of masters in the name of the automotive sector. We are now attracting talents from all over the world. Allow me to interrupt you. We're talking about racing. It's really a race to enroll in one of your courses, isn't it? How many people can enroll to your courses? Currently, inside Muner, meaning 3 degree courses, we have 150 places, but many more ask for enrollment. There are very hard and difficult tests. In the beginning, you have to perfectly master the English language because courses are taught entirely in English. These are international courses. I wanted also to highlight an aspect. We started from mechanical engineering, and over the last 3 years we added a course in electronic engineering. We will start this year with a 3rd course, electric vehicle engineering. It's an English course based on designing electric vehicles. It wasn't us, the university, to push on this 3rd pillar. Companies that are partners of Muner, the 11 companies all along the Via Emilia from Parma to Faenza. In Faenza, we have Toro Rosso, one of the excellencies that are partners of Muner. Well, they pushed for a degree course on electric vehicles. Very briefly, how many students come from abroad in your company? Well, not that many. Around 10%. So you highlight the made in Italy in terms of brains as well. Yes, we do. We saw that depending on the type of activity that we carry out, the Italian trained young generations are very highly skilled. Dr. Bergami from the Bologna Business School. He is the Dean of the Bologna Business School. Thank you for being with us. Bologna Business School is an elite institution to train managers and businessmen, entrepreneurs. What skills do you need to have to enter this school? Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you now. Well, let me talk about the word elite. Bologna Business School within the University of Bologna is a foundation promoted by the University of Bologna. Companies and private institutions take part in that. Ferrari, Lamborghini and Dallara are among our partners. It's a master degree school dealing with managerial training of people that got a degree or people that have some professional experience already in some business. People who decide that want to follow the global MBA, a full-time master of the University of Bologna, or an executive master, part-time masters that take place on Fridays and Saturdays every 3 to 4 weeks. So this is an ongoing training decision, isn't it? Well, yes, we often talk about lifelong learning. The issue is that in many companies, we find that people achieve higher level, but in a vertical way. Let's say that the best technician becomes the chief technician, but then at some point the chief technician needs to widen his competencies towards managerial skills as well. So this is the task of our school. If by elitarian you mean an unlimited number of people, yes, for sure. Yes, I wanted to say that, elitarian in that way. Well, we really care to provide access to the courses to everybody. We allotted around 2.5 million per year for scholarships, and thanks to the cooperation with some banks, we also support students. People have to become able to take decisions thanks to our schools, and accessibility is one of our main concerns. Thank you, Professor. Now, institutions. Vincenzo Colla, Councillor for Productive Activities of the region Emilia-Romagna. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. Could you please comment on the news that has been mentioned a few minutes ago regarding the presence of a Chinese company in Emilia-Romagna to manufacture highly performing and sustainable vehicles? Well, we are referring to a relevant investment. It's the first investment China does in Italy in terms of automotive. It's a large group, a billion-dollar group, and we're talking about an agreement with an engineering company. Yesterday we had this video conference attended by the managers of FAW as well as Chinese institutions. We understood that they are very much determined, and if they want to invest that heavily, it means that they need to come to our local area. If they want to purchase low-cost soil, we have problems. But if they need skills and competencies, they have to come here. Nobody throughout the world can manufacture such beautiful products at those costs and with that innovative approach. We're talking here about a green supply chain which is going to change the world, as well as hybrid vehicles. So we're talking about a great activity here. Such company is looking ahead to innovation. FAW will probably get some talents from this region, from the University of Bologna and the Bologna Business School as well. These are very important institutions. What is your opinion on that? Well, I think we need to say that our young generations need to stay here. We can't afford that digital era young generations leave our territory. We invested in skills and knowledge. This is a beautiful investment. We have to keep this going and create a system. It's not only about a company separated from everything else, because beyond the company, we have a university, we have mayors that can start relationship and know the system in which they are working. We have services as well. This mix is also based on a key relationship, triggering the possibility of patiently invest. We need these slow investments. We are able to attract the investment by multinationals, but also we need to attract brains. As a region, we are thinking about attracting skills and smart brains. People have to know our local area and stay here, hopefully. We need to turn this into reality in order to provide young generation all the professional tools, and also we need to provide this to companies. You mentioned mayors. The mayor of Modena, Giancarlo Muzzarelli, we've seen him on occasion of the presentation of the Motor Valley Fest. We are now at the theater, but the fest should have been taking place in the city. Now, Modena is at the heart of the Motor Valley. Some remarks on that. Well, I'm very much satisfied of having been able to keep this event alive. You've been very brave, I have to say that. Well, yes, we decided to keep this event alive, and we are kind of recharging our batteries here. We want to rely on our future. We don't want to feel shattered by the virus. We have to create opportunities. This is a big challenge ahead we have. We want to do that with our features, with our teamwork. We chose to compete outwards and be tight all together inwards. Each and every one of us has to play his or her role. We are accelerating in order to approve within June the urban plan, urban sustainability plan. So bearing in mind the last mile, sustainable mobility, urban quality, lifestyle, without hindering anybody, right? Yes, indeed, trying to find the conditions that will allow us to enhance internal and external mobility. This is going to be a very important aspect that will be discussed on occasion of the discussion regarding the urban sustainability plan. We have also to think about infrastructures. We need to increase and improve infrastructure. The digital plan, the digital urban plan, also comprises the ultra-wide band, data centers, services. Infrastructure are a vital element, and we have to make sure that a portion of the city is available for the MASA project. The automotive sector has to be enabled to test the autonomous drive vehicles inside a urban context. The smart area is a very important part of this. One more important element is to create a bridge between training and research and, on the other side, businesses. We need this ongoing contact. The public administration is performing this bridging point. We're listening to the needs of companies and We are working within this innovation and research context, which is the distinguishing figure of a local area which is deeply rooted yet looking far ahead. This is a great challenge indeed. 10 more minutes. So I would like to hear your opinion, Mr. Bozzoli. Unfortunately, we are living in a COVID-19 period. Everything came to a standstill, and we're trying to restart. Let's hope we avoid one more lockdown. It's up to us, actually, to avoid that. The situation is not pretty, it's not good, looking good, but we have to keep united. How did you manage to do that in your company in spite of the health issues? Well, that was a huge problem. This crisis is killing the elderly and leaving with no future young generations. At the end of 2018, we launched Progetto 100, a very ambitious project according to which 100 recently graduated will be hired. We hired 112. The goal nowadays is to make sure they stay on board, which is not to be given for granted. Around 30 people, trainees and internship people. We have 47 people working as interns. And well, given that we need to think of our situation, in spite of the fact that we have great customers, if we had to use social buffers, we would probably dismiss these young people, but we don't want to do that. Healthy and evolved companies have a social responsibility. We have to make sure they have their workplace. I would like to thank the councillor Colla, together with the mayor Muzzarelli. They visited our company. And we have to keep these young people, we have to keep them via interesting and evolved projects. We wanted to keep them and motivate them in these 2 months. We invested in ourselves, firstly. We launched 18 activities and research and development projects that for sure can be extremely interesting for our customers. Secondly, we came live on occasion of the Motor Valley Digital Fest of this new business unit, the EVO, reminding of the word evolution, dedicated to artificial intelligence. Some days ago, a United States multinational specialized in computing strategies wrote us that in the next 5 years, $3.3 trillion are going to be invested in AI applications. For sure, this is a great opportunity, meaning we are going to diversify. We are investing in that. 60 engineers out of a total of 250 will have the chance to tackle the challenges of the future. Thank you. Professor Sangiorgi, you have a great feeling with HPE, isn't it? Yes, HPE is one of the Mooner partners. We inaugurated with them this company training model. HPE engineers follow specific specialization courses that HPE deems important for its development. Professors coming from Bologna, Modena, and other 4 universities are working there under our supervision. This is how we speed up the career of a young graduated person that can then become a specialized technician. We created that over the last 2 years. And with them, we are about to open a joint lab that we will work on artificial intelligence. We have 2 interdepartmental centers in Bologna working on artificial intelligence. We are working with many different actors. HPE is a very dynamic company driven towards innovation, and we are inspired by that. Allow me to add one more element. This is a critical moment. The mayor and the councillor Colla said we can't afford to miss talents, and right now it's very important for us not to miss them. It would be utterly terrible to have a decrease in the number of subscriptions to the university. That means to cut the roots of a tree that won't bring any fruit anymore. The emergency room closed on the 21st of February, and we immediately made sure that 85,000 students could follow 3,500 courses online. This allowed us to save a whole generation of students, which otherwise would have been abandoned. I do believe that a great public, and underline public, institution was able to do that within a week. Now, the challenge is still there. We need to manage this back to normal activity. We need to make sure young people will understand that opportunities are going to be there. Should in October be some problems, we have to work all together with institutions and companies in order to make sure people understand that we care about them and we want them to stay here. They are our future, the future of our country. Let me convey these messages to Professor Bergami from the Bologna Business School. So, what do you think? What can you tell us about your case? I won't repeat what Professor Sangiorgi said because I fully agree with him. I would highlight 3 aspects, though. The first one, this wonderful investment that has been announced over the last days confirms, nonetheless, that we are about to start a battle with talents. Chinese don't invest here because they have low-cost labor force. They invest here because they can find know-how, skills, and talents. We will see how Chinese will face our trade unions as well. Allow me to say that. Well, okay. That was the first point. Second point, referring back to what Councillor Colla was saying, and I was pleased to hear about the fact that we want to attract talents. We can't really make a distinction between talent retention and attraction. Either we are attractive for our talents or I mean, we can't even be attractive to foreign talents. It's even more complex to attract foreign talents, and even the more so in the next months. Yet, I believe this is going to be possible. Thanks to our global MBA, we have a superbike motorsport course with Dallara, Toro Rosso, Magneti Marelli, Ferrari, Ducati, and 90% of these students come from foreign countries worldwide. These students might come to our country. They might have problems with the Italian language. Of course, they have to face cultural fit problems. Yet, I do think that the internationalization of our companies and the Motor Valley also depends on the fact that we have some tiny pieces of international DNA. So, in the case of Mooner, students spend here 2 years. These people, therefore, have been accustomed to the Italian context. We have beautiful case studies of students that stayed in the Motor Valley companies or went back to their own countries in the branches and subsidiaries of Motor Valley companies, thus facilitating and helping this internationalization process. This is another very important piece of the puzzle, and I'm glad to know that the region is committed to attract international talents as well, because I believe they are paramount for our competitive system. 2 more minutes. The Councillor for Productive Activities, Mr. Colla. The investment of Emilia-Romagna region is heavy. It's not only about money, but it's about belief. You want to convey this message and disseminate it throughout the world. It's a feeling investment, I would say. You can't really keep a culture without providing feelings and emotions. We feel this belonging to our history and the know-how and the fact that we can witness wonderful objects belongs to a way of being. Also, allow me to say that we managed to overcome polarization. At times, technology is only something for some elected people. Yet, in our local area, we managed to unify these conditions and create the most beautiful cars in the world. That's what we do. And we are able to keep in good relationship with all the communities throughout the world. We are able to feed this feeling, which is very much appreciated by those investing in our region. Let's not forget that Region Emilia-Romagna has been participating in many different discussion tables. We can't produce craftsmanship if we are not able to explain that we are able to do that. Relationships are key. If we think of what happened during the coronavirus crisis, well, if we didn't have good relationships with institutions and companies from our local areas, we wouldn't have been successful. Our region is a wonderful region. We have enormous skills when it comes to relationships. Well, Mayor, let's meet here next year on occasion of the next edition of Motor Valley Fest. Well, we have to be responsible when opening up after the lockdown. We want to be connected to the world. We want to host students in our extraordinary cities. We have to reinforce the opportunity implementation in order to be attractive. I believe that we need to strengthen this system we have already and create a perspective. We are passionate about what we do, and we have to look forward to organizing 2021 event. We needed a digital edition anyway. We demonstrated that it's possible to be connected and be hopeful about the future with passion. Thank you so much. Let's conclude this last session www.motorvalleyfest.it. The website will allow you to listen to what has been said today, but the appointment is due with the events until Sunday. Thank you so much.